Hi guys, this is Chrystal Lynn, and I want to thank you for joining me today. And first of all, I want to thank you guys all so much for your awesome emails and letters, and I've just really enjoyed reading through them. And just know I am picking names each week, and I'm going to try to do this throughout the summer, so hopefully I'll get to a lot of you guys. So just stay tuned. I'm working on those things, but today I thought I would do something a little different. I'm working on a pretty in-depth study right now of the generational planets, and anytime you study this stuff, it's just unbelievable how deep you can go. So my objective in my little coaching astrology tapes, whatever you want to call it, it's my style, it's just what I feel comfortable doing. It's just to keep things simple, guys. Keep things simple. And to really realize that we all, I say this each time, we all are given these amazing gifts. And yes, we all have those up and down, turbulence, and astrological storms, but we're all in the same playing field, guys. And by becoming aware of what's going on around you, not just in your own little world, but outside of it, becoming a part of it and connected to it, it just opens your life to just so many amazing things, and understanding that there's a plan. I know there's a lot of messages out there right now, and some of them bring confusion and even fear about your chart and, this planet with this planet and all these crazy things they do. And yeah, we can get really crazy with this, but how do we keep it simple for everyday life? So that's what I'm here to do. So we're going to talk about my favorite planet, Neptune. You guys might have figured that, being that I'm a Pisces rising, Pisces moon, if you didn't know. So let's talk about Neptune. I love Neptune. Neptune, what is his purpose? What is he here to do? Neptune stays in each sign for 14 years, okay? Takes him 165 years to get around the sun. So we only see these things happen once in our lifetime. And the fact that we are actually in the world alive right now while Neptune is in Pisces, to me, is just so awesome. That's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, what is his purpose? So his purpose is the key to him, the idea of Neptune, is to bring emotional ecstasy. We love that, don't we? But he has some other things he has to do as well. And one of those things is to remove illusion and reveal truth. Because we can't just be out in our own worlds with our own endeavors and not bring glory back to this beautiful earth and to one another. We have to keep these gifts flowing back and forth to one another. So, Neptune has to keep our feet on the ground as well with these great ideas. He's also here to actualize our ideas. I love that. Show us patterns of defeat. That ecstasy has to have some order. It has to be suited for social work. Can't just be out on its own. He does reveal self-deception, and he does point us to the arenas in which you can actualize your dreams. I love that. We all have different arenas, different realms of influence that we are a part of. I love that. So where is his strength? So to really get an idea of any of your generational planets, guys, when you're doing a study on these things, you need to look back and you need to look ahead, because they all are connected. History comes together. It's a beautiful harmony that you see happening. And so I'm going to take us back to 12/24/1955 when Neptune went into Scorpio. What was his purpose when Neptune went into Scorpio? He was there until 1970. And, you will see, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail today about it, but you will see that when Neptune goes forward into a planet, he'll hop backwards a few times, off and on, sometimes in those 14 years. Maybe he has some unfinished business, I'm not sure. But generally, he was all the way to 1970. And his purpose here was to realize higher levels of shared material resources. He wanted us to learn to really share our resources, to get our money flowing. It creates a responsibility. Those born with Neptune Scorpio, we have the responsibility today, continued responsibility of this generational planet. Today, we are responsible for the Earth's resources. This generation Also, I thought it was interesting because we know that Scorpio also brings intimacy. Well, you know, we're not going to share our money with somebody we're not intimate with. So this began to bring up, you know, really the psychology of people during this time. Different things were coming out during these years. People were starting to really look at ourselves. You know, prior to that, nobody asked each other how they felt about anything. You know, you never asked your child, how do you feel? What do you want? Back generations, right? Now we want to know, how do they feel? What do they have to say? What is going on behind the scenes? We begin to see this search for intimacy. Well, you can't be intimate with somebody you don't know. And so we begin to start to look at each other on a more intimate level. Now, in January 4th of 1970, Neptune moved into Sagittarius. What was his purpose there? Well, his purpose was to bring higher levels of commitment in areas of intellect, philosophy, and what else? And religion. So these are the years now from 1970 to 1984. You're seeing huge waves of evangelism in different arenas. You're seeing the tents come up and the Billy Graham crusades and other things. You're seeing people, you know, I'm just using this as one example because I'm familiar with it. Smuggling Bibles into China and wanting to do mission trips, wanting to go abroad with the messages of spirituality, getting, you know, taking their messages into little tiny villages across the country, and all of this stuff was just being pushed during this time, getting the message out there, you know, that we could, you know, we can actually communicate with people across countries on spiritual levels. And so you see this going on. You also see this generation now, which is getting to be about, you know, the 30-year-old, you know, 25 to 35, something like that. They are the ones, you know, traveling, desire, finding their spirituality through going out and, you know, being in the wilderness and, you know, going sitting on a rock, and, you know, they outdoors, you know, it's that go abroad with it. Don't put it in a little box. This was a time that Neptune's desire was to create a universal medium, something we could all agree on, because everybody was becoming very, you know, strong in their own philosophical ideas and their own spiritual ideas during this time. And so, you know, Neptune still wants us to have a common respect for each other and to agree to disagree, you know, to have that, what can we agree on, you know, and so this was also his purpose, okay, what can we agree on? And so that was his purpose, is to get the message out there. You saw a lot of preaching during that time. Now, in 1998 to 2011, he moved into Aquarius. No, Capricorn. I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say Capricorn, and I almost missed you. 1984 to 1998. So if you were born from 1984 to 1998, then this is your generation. Now, his purpose here was to impact us on higher levels of government. Now we have to take all the spirituality that's going crazy and all these ideas across abroad, and the message is just wild, and we have to put it in some structure. So now you see the building of the mega churches during this time, and you see all of these things going on, okay? And so, excuse me, there's like this fly that's wanting to get on my screen, and I'm determined he's not getting on there. This was managing people now, okay? Because now our resources are starting to work out and come together. And now Neptune and Capricorn is all about managing the people, because, you know, any good thing can go haywire. This is creating governments and structures, but was challenging those things. This is about a generation. Keep an eye on this generation. I think you're really going to see them come to the surface. They are in the process right now of creating their own government. Not necessarily a government structure, but governing their own lives. They have something to say, and they're not going to leave their lives in the hands of somebody else anymore. So Neptune is about, you know, think about that water and think about it flooding through and breaking down boundaries. And so a lot of these structures right now that were being built during this time are breaking down right now. But remember, it's about revealing the truth and cleaning things up. Water washes, water cleanses. Neptune's water, guys. And it cleanses through and it takes out the debris, the structures, because man always gets his hand in there, the ego, all of those things, and just, hits that extra nail. And so sometimes those things need to come down if they're not built to last, if they're not built for the good of everybody. And that's where he comes in and he reveals those things. If you have your own self motivation, he's not cool with that because he wants us to give back. And so that's the goal there. Now, let's take a look. And this is a brief analysis on these. I'm just kind of introducing you to some thoughts. And I'm going to be talking about these things, kind of giving you the foundation. So when I do talk about Neptune in the future, hopefully you'll have watched this and have a little better idea. Now he goes into Aquarius. 1998 to 2011. What was going on? Well, come on. This was the coming out of the internet and the power of social media and Facebooks and MySpaces and dating sites, and now we've got to connect, but we can't travel everywhere. How are we going to do it? This has become, travel by computer. I mean, we basically can go into somebody else's world. I mean, you guys can come into my home right now. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And who am I? I'm nobody, but I'm somebody that's lived something and has something they think they have to say. And now I have the access to share my story. Now we can tell our own stories. We don't have to sit around and wait to be told what stories we're going to watch. And so YouTube and communication and spiritual message started going haywire through the internets and through the airwaves. We hear about the times in life when knowledge will be very accessible. Well, there's nothing you can't look up right now. And, the messages everywhere. And you can thank Neptune and Aquarius for that. So, he's about humanitarianism. I can't even say the word. You guys got it. We need each other. We need to work together during this time. Otherwise, we'll conquer and divide. So again, Neptune's about bringing unity. He's about bringing a oneness, an understanding. Again, it's not maybe understanding on every level, but it's a common bond. What is our common bond as humanity? That's the question. Last but not least, we're going to take a look at April 3rd, 2011 to 2026, Neptune in Pisces. This is so exciting to me, you guys. This is an absolutely incredible moment in history because Neptune is in his homeland in Pisces, and he's all about love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding each other. Do you guys see the movement going on right now through the airwaves? Can you see all the little messages? Love each other, forgive each other. Everybody's expressing their emotions right now, whether they've been hurt, whether they've been, whether they're just, fighting to get back up. I mean, there's just this huge movement of inspiration coming from everywhere. You can feel it happening. That we are all one. We're all one in understanding that we're all on this earth. We're all in the same boat. Different ideas, different concepts. Yes, bring it on. We don't all have to have this. We can't all think the same way. How boring would life be? But it's about respecting one another, our differences, and maybe even stopping to put ourselves in someone else's shoes instead of just judging. How could they think that way? How could they be that way? There is a flood coming right now, you guys. The next 14 years is going to just be so incredible. Breaking down judgments, breaking down those things. Basically, we all have to love each other. That's it. When you look back now, because we're talking about different generational planets as well, as you get back further and further to some of the people that are our elders now, they're going to have a harder time with some of this because their structures are a lot more conservative. And so you'll always have that side of people going, oh my God, what's going on with the world? People aren't like they used to be. Well, they're not. That's because these beautiful generational planets just come through, wave through our generations, bringing change, preparing us for the next change and for the next change. Don't be afraid, you guys. We're never given anything that we can't handle. Just be aware. Find out who you are and understand how to use your gifts and be a part of this exciting movement. So I hope that was helpful. I'd love to hear your comments. If you guys have anything to add, please do. I love hearing different perspectives. And I'm just going to keep going on with all this fun stuff. So I hope you guys keep watching and commenting. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye.